be deep for our diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, good morning, everyone. I didn't catch my breath before that happened, and then I usually don't speak correctly. So good morning. It is the 15th of January, Friday. We have made it through another week. Look at us. Look at us. Hey, Kitty. This is Sawyer. Sawyer's one of my kitties. Here. This guy. This guy. So, I used to live in this house, and I'll make a long story short. But I had to kick my landlord out of the house, right? Because he was drinking and drunk and not paying the house bills. So I kicked him out of his house. When he left this cat. And nobody was feeding it. Nobody was taking care of it. He was just hanging out in the basement, man. So I started feeding him and taking care of him. And it took a while. It took like three months to get him coming to the bedroom. You know, it took, I don't know. I don't think it took that long. But eventually we moved and we took him with us. And he's become a totally different cat. He's very social now. He used to weigh a lot. I let him go outside now with my other kitty. And he's lost all of his weight. And he is a very happy social cat. Okay. So what does that tell you? That we tend to be dependent on what's going on around us, right? You know, Sawyer had been abandoned so many times that he just thought we were going to leave without him, you know. But once we moved, and we've actually moved twice, and I'm never moving again. And he was with it. I mean, he's circling my legs right now, right? But when you include somebody in something and you intentionally go out of your way to make them a part of, you'll be amazed at what happens. You'll be amazed, man. You can change somebody's entire life by just having a little bit of empathy for what's going on, right? In this case, I didn't want this cat to starve and be lonely, man. You know, even though he was a jerk, but he wasn't a jerk. He was just living under circumstances. Okay? He'll even let the grandchildren come up and pet him. As long as they don't come running up going, eh. An unsuspected inner resource. I'm going to tell you guys something. We humans are weird, amazing creatures. Our bodies do things that are so amazing and can be unexpected, right? With few exceptions, our members find that they have tapped an unsuspected inner resource, which they presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves, right? Morning, Joe. It's good to see you. And this that they're talking about is the spiritual experience, right? So guess what page we're going to read from? It always throws me off because it'll tell me the page. It's like 567. I'm like, it never picks stories. I'm like, oh, it's spiritual experience. The terms spiritual experience and spiritual awakening are used many times in this book, which upon careful reading shows that the personality change sufficient to bring about recovery from alcoholism has manifested itself among us in many different forms. So that means people see God differently in different forms. Most of us call God God so that we don't add any more confusion, because that's not what we're supposed to do, right? Yet it is true that our first printing gave many readers the impression that these personality changes or religious experience must be in the nature of a sudden, spectacular upheavals. Happily for everyone, this conclusion is erroneous. In the first few chapters, a number of sudden revolutionary changes are described. Though it was not our intention to create such an impression, many alcoholics have nevertheless concluded that in order to recover, they must require an immediate and overwhelming God consciousness, followed at once by a vast change in feeling and outlook. Among our rapidly growing membership of thousands of alcoholics, such transformations, though frequent, are by no means the rule. I would have to say that at 1 out of every 10 people I meet, probably somewhere around there, have a sudden and quick upheaval. It doesn't happen very often. Maybe 1 out of 2. It's probably more than that. I don't know about you guys, but if God gave me a burning bush, I would react and throw water on it. And so he doesn't do that. Among our rapidly growing membership of thousands of most of our experience are what the psychologist William James calls the educational variety, because they develop slowly over a period of time. Quite often, friends of the newcomer are aware of the difference long before he is himself. Yes, other people are going to see changes in you before you see them in yourself, right? Good or bad. For the most part, most people are like that. He finally realizes that he has undergone a profound alteration in his reaction to life, right? In his reaction to life and how we react and what we do, what comes out of our mouth there, right? What often takes place in a few months could seldom have been accomplished by years of self-discipline. With few exceptions, our members find that they have tapped into an unsuspecting inner resource which they can presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves. Okay? Which is what this book is all about. Most of us think this awareness of a power greater than ourselves is the essence of a spiritual experience. Our more religious members call it God consciously. Most emphatically, we wish to say that any alcoholic capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. He can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. We're literally saying, pick your own God. We can't make it much bigger than that. Okay? So the only thing that's going to stop you from there is your own intolerance and your own belligerent denial. Denial, something that I think it should be an AA meeting topic very soon. I haven't heard it in a long time. In fact, hardly anybody talks about denial anymore. It's kind of left our, okay? Find that no one need have difficulty with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery, but these are indispensable. Indispensable. It means that the how of the program, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, can be used for almost anything that you do. Anything that you touch, come in contact with, talk to, anybody. That's what indispensable is. And then here comes Jill and I's favorite part. There is a principle which is bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. Okay. Contempt prior to investigation is pretty straightforward. It could be a whole thing, and yeah, I know, Jill, one day I'll actually get to it, huh? Okay, but in this situation, what I'm going to say is is in this situation is you are cutting yourself off from being able to get help because of contempt prior to investigation. So in other words, you're already saying, well, it's not going to work for me, and you haven't even tried yet. You didn't even read any of the book yet. You didn't try step 1. You didn't give yourself a chance. Why would you do that? Because denial, guys. That's why. That's why the steps are in a certain order. There's a reason. There's a reason for all of it. Once I became sober, this was yesterday's. From my first day in AA, as I struggled for sobriety, I found hope in these words from our founders. I often pondered the phrase, they have tapped an unsuspected inner resource. It's God. Okay? And we find that we are even more than we thought we were, which is pretty cool stuff. How do we do that? By getting rid of it all. By pressing the reset button. Hey, I started my life over at 45, man. You can do it too. How I ask myself, can I find the power within myself since I am so powerless? What a great question, right? Though, yes, it makes us chuckle, right? But to them, you know, it's a pretty serious question because it could be pretty confusing in the beginning, can it? Seems like we might even contradict ourselves. Kind of feels that way, but I swear we're not. Okay? In time, as the founders promised, it came to me. Keep coming back till the miracle happens. That's what we're talking about right now. In time, as the founders promised, it came to me. I have always had the choice between goodness and evil, between unselfishness and selfishness, between serenity and fear. That power greater than myself is an original gift that I did not recognize until I achieved daily sobriety through living AA's 12 steps. I'm going to tell you, yes, you have all of these things in you, but not when you're drinking, not when you're doing drugs. Nope, we are not those people. You will not be that person. I'm sorry. I have always had the choice between goodness and evil. At some point, we had no choice, guys. That's why. So I'm kind of letting you know I don't. Well, yes, you had it, but you certainly didn't use it. Not while you were drinking or drugging. All right. That power greater than myself is an original gift that I did not recognize until I achieved daily sobriety. Through living AA's 12 steps. Ta-da. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'll be back for the daily reflection tomorrow. So, in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. Love y'all. Peace out and have a day. Bye, guys.